if we would win, I mean, that would really screw things up, I'm guessing. It might be kind of funny, actually.
Funny for some, horrendous for others, and unforgettable for me and you, Max. What if Iowa pulls off the impossible, gets that upset against Michigan on Saturday?
What if, Michael? It would be awesome. Not a lot of experts even have the Hawkeyes keeping it close, which personally I think is pretty disrespectful, but we'll just have to wait till Saturday to see who's disrespectful and who's going to come out on top.
Yeah, Max, you know what the great Jay Beebs once said? Never say never, and anything can be possible this Saturday. But hello, everyone, and welcome to the Daily Iowans weekly pregame show and your number one source for Hawkeye sports. I'm Michael Merrick.
And I'm Max Von Grease, and today we're going to break down everything that you need to know before the kickoff.
Now, Max, it's been a second since we've got to talk some Hawkeye football up here, so first off, hope you enjoyed your Thanksgiving, my man. Hope that turkey time was pretty special. But second, I have to bring up a nice, cool fact. Iowa win another November without a loss.
Yeah, Michael, obviously the Hawkeyes got it done on senior night against the Fighting Illini in a really tough, hard-fought game. And then last week, on Black Friday, the best deal of the day was being able to watch the Hawkeyes beat their bitter rival Nebraska for the Heroes Trophy in a game where I thought I was going to pass out from all the drama. What about you, Michael? Give me some of your thoughts on the 2 weeks that we had over break that we didn't cover.
Yeah, Max, Iowa had two pretty tough games where they looked like they might lose both of them, but the Iowa does what the Hawkeyes do best, and they found a way to win in it. And since the bye week, Deacon Hill has really started to get into a nice groove for him, especially compared to his first few games as a starter. Things are definitely on the up, and they're going to need that as Iowa has its toughest test of the year. They prepare for the second-ranked Michigan Wolverines. They're going to be embracing that underdog mindset.
I don't know if we're the favorite. We're probably not the favorite this game, but it's going to be up to us to just go out and play football and do our job.
Yeah, like I said probably a few times, we just love that underdog mentality. You kind of got nothing to lose and you just go out there and have fun and play loose.
I'm playing the game for myself at the end of the day. I'm playing the game for the guys next to me. So, the game hasn't been played yet. So what people says, people think, and everything like that doesn't really matter.
Now, obviously, the Hawkeyes, they've had a pretty successful season as a team up to this point. I mean, they've won 10 games and they took home the Big Ten West crown, but now they have gotten some individual recognition as well.
Deserving as so, Michael. Along with some national award finalists being announced, the Big Ten honors were handed out. 3 Hawkeyes will be named to the All-Big Ten first team, including Jay Higgins, Tory Taylor, and then Super Cooper DeJean was named as a first-team corner and return specialist.
Yeah, Max Cooper was also named the Tatum Woodson Big Ten Defensive Back of the Year and the Rogers Dwight Big Ten Return Specialist of the Year, making DeJean just the 6th Hawkeye to be named the Big Ten DB of the Year since it was introduced back in 2011. He joins some NFL stars like Micah Hyde, Amani Hooker, and Desmond King. Tory Taylor also got a little bit of extra love as the mate from Down Under was named the Edelman Fields Punter of the Year. This is his second time winning the award. That makes him the first punter in Big Ten history to win the award more than once.
Iowa also had multiple second and third team members, including Sebastian Castro and Nick Jackson. The Hawks also had a ton of honorable mentions led by Y.A. Black and Quinn Schulte and a ton of other Hawks that couldn't even make it onto these graphics, Michael.
Yeah, Max, we have seen a lot of great performances from Iowa's players this year. Couldn't even fit them all on those graphics. It would have just taken too much time. But as you guys heard, we just broke down some of those honors that were handed out this week. So definitely makes your pick for a Hawkeye highlight pretty easy, right, Max?
Yeah, Michael, this might seem lazy, but give me the whole damn Hawkeye squad. I've had enough hearing about how badly Michigan is going to beat the Hawkeyes come Saturday. I've heard all the talking heads say that Michigan is a lock to beat Iowa. And me personally, I'm not having any of that. And let me tell you why. Sure, the Hawkeyes aren't coming into this game this Saturday with a lot of offensive firepower, but let's stop and give Kirk and the Cardiac Kids some credit for once. Regardless of who the opponents are, the Hawks are coming into the game on a 4-game 4-game winning streak and didn't lose a game, like you mentioned, Michael, in the whole month of November. And yeah, a lot of the talking heads have Michigan by a landslide, but I'm just a little disgusted as to why none of them are giving any credit to our defense led by Phil Parker, the best defensive coordinator and defensive back coach in the country. If you don't agree with me, then at me, Max_VG, go right ahead. A top 10 defense in terms of total defense, and let's be honest here, and you all know that I never lie, he is the reason why Iowa is heading to Indy this Saturday. If Iowa doesn't have the mastermind that is Coach Parker, I'm saying we might be 3-10 on the year. You all will see later on in the show who I believe will win the championship, and some of it is because I'm a little biased towards Iowa, but please, let's not get it twisted that this is a really good Iowa football team regardless of how good the offense has been. And that's all, Michael.
Max, that was incredible, my man. I wanted to highlight somebody, but you quite literally took the entire team.
Yeah, the whole team are all my dogs. I've got their back. I spoke for you guys. Don't worry about it. Just play great on Saturday.
You know, I love to hear that coming from you, Max. But I heard someone does still have a highlight they'd like to get to. Aiden, I heard that you're a little upset that someone got snubbed this week.
Yeah, guys, I am a little upset, but my Hawkeye highlight this week is Sebastian Castro. He's been consistent, he's been dominant, but I'm gonna come out and say it. He has been snubbed. They bring out the Big Ten honors and he doesn't get first team. They claim he's not athletic enough, but I claim a quote from Vince Vaughn in the famous movie Wedding Crashers, erroneous. Let me throw out some stats for you guys right here, right now. A 90.6 PFF grade, 0 touchdowns allowed, 3 interceptions, 6 pass breakups, and a 38.9 passer rating allowed as well. Castro has the highest motor of any player on this team, and I have no doubt that he will make big bucks when he gets in the league. But really, he's been snubbed. That's all I gotta say. He'll be coming after some blood for the Wolverines this weekend, but I just gotta send it back to you guys. I'm too upset to deal with this right now, so back to you guys.
I could tell that really got you worked up, and I understand why. Castro has just been a beast all season long.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite players. I've always been watching him since he got to Iowa. I'm just happy he's breaking out right now, Michael.
He's been having a great season, that's for sure, but now it's time to break down what is most likely the most talented team Iowa has played all season long. The Hawks are going to have their hands full with this loaded Wolverine squad, despite having their head coach suspended 2 separate times this season for stuff that we're not even going to get into. This Michigan team still finished the season undefeated and with 2 top 10 wins. Leading the way for this highly touted team is Heisman candidate and alleged acquaintance of Aiden Wirtz, J.J. McCarthy. McCarthy has been incredible this season, putting up over 2,400 passing yards, 19 touchdowns, while only throwing 4 interceptions. This dual threat quarterback might be the best quarterback Iowa's faced this season, and everyone is aware of how dangerous McCarthy can really be.
He's just dynamic with his feet, and he can make he can just extend plays and make a lot of big plays on the run too. As good as he is throwing in the pocket, he's good. Probably maybe better even throwing on the run. Honestly, he's just made some wild plays, some wild throws, and shoot, I mean, he's a playmaker. He deserves to be in the Heisman contingent.
In the backfield with JJ is a running back that has almost as many touchdowns this season as the entire Hawkeye roster. Blake Corum has continued his strong play from last year, nearing 1,000 rushing yards and adding 22 touchdowns. By the way, for your information, Iowa has scored 25 touchdowns as a team this season. Corum even scored in Michigan's beatdown against Iowa in the title game 2 years ago, so you know he'll be looking to do even more damage on Saturday.
He's a great player. He presents, a lot of challenges. He can always make somebody miss. He can find the right gap. He can run through somebody, and it's just anytime you get a chance to compete against a guy like that, that's just kind of what you look forward to. You know that's what you're going to get in a game like this. So we look forward to the opportunity to go out on the field and play these guys.
And this Michigan team definitely isn't just built on their strong offense. The Wolverines' defense is as elite, if not even better than their offense. Michigan is one of the best defenses in the entire country. Right now, they're first in the nation in points allowed per game, but they do fall all the way down to number 2 when it comes to total defense. Max, it's hard for Iowa to score on the low-end defenses in the Big Ten like Purdue, so going up against one of the nation's best is definitely going to be a tough challenge.
Yeah, Michael, but when we play Madden, it's always a challenge for you to score on me, but somehow you always do it.
Yeah, Max, I am known to put some points on the board, unlike the Iowa Hawkeyes do. But now, let's bring in AJ. AJ, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving break. Usually, we get to talk everything around the Big Ten, but with this being the one and only Big Ten matchup this weekend, how about you just tell us about the rest of the NCAA?
Yeah, Michael, it's championship weekend, and there are some big games that could throw a wrench in the college football playoffs. Let's start with the SEC championship between the back-to-back national champions and the consensus #1 team in the nation right now, Georgia. And they're taking on the mighty Alabama Crimson Tide. And the Elephants have a chance to build a case to the committee on why they should be one of the top 4 teams in the country. Their only loss this season was against the Texas Longhorns back in Week 2, and since then, they have won 10 straight, including ranked wins over Ole Miss and LSU. And if you, for some reason, haven't seen this miraculous play that sent Auburn packing in the Iron Ball, oh boy. This Bama team looks like it could be a team of destiny. Jalen Milroe looking like a dog at quarterback after being benched earlier in the year, and now he's putting up numbers that could put him in the Heisman race. But first, they will have to battle with the undefeated Georgia Bulldogs, who are coming off a 31-23 win over Georgia Tech, and they have looked like the best team in the country all year long. They're averaging just under 40 points per game. Boy, wouldn't that be fun to watch every week. But their defense is also holding opponents to just under 16 points per game. If Bama wants to upset and possibly force themselves into the playoffs, they're going to have to put on quite a performance. The Crimson Tide are 6-point dogs in this one. Now let's look at the Big 12 championship game. That Texas team we were just talking about also can punch their ticket to the CFP if they defeat Oklahoma State, and if they get some extra help from Georgia, it would be hard for the committee to not put them into the top 4. But don't count out the Cowboys. They took an ugly loss to UCF a couple of weeks ago, but they are notorious for showing up under the bright lights. Not to mention, Texas is leaving the Big 12 for the SEC, so why let the Traitors run away with the title in their final season, defend the Big 12, and spoil Texas's chances of making the playoffs? The Cowboys are 15.5-point dogs in this one. But possibly the biggest championship game this weekend is in the Pac-12. In their final season of existence, they finally have a chance for a team to represent them in the CFP, and if the cards fold the right way, they could have 2 teams. Washington defeated Oregon earlier in the year in a 36-33 barn burner, but the Ducks have a chance to avenge their loss and possibly force their way into the college football playoffs. 2 Heisman hopefuls and Michael Penix Jr. and Bo Nix, studs on both sides of the ball, and if it's close and Texas loses and Florida State loses the ACC championship, the Pac-12 could be going out in a blaze of glory. Oregon are 10-point favorites in this one. Boys, this is the final season of the Big Ten format, the Pac-12, and the college football playoff format, and it could not be more chaotic for the selection committee. And we didn't even talk about that ACC championship going on Friday night between Louisville and undefeated Florida State. A lot of people calling for the Seminoles to not even make the top 4. The ACC pretty weak this year without Clemson being the team they normally are, and Duke falling off recently. But it will all unfold this weekend, fellas, and this is what college football is all about.
Yeah, AJ, that was all great, but I personally don't care about the ACC championship game. I do have a friend that's a huge Seminoles fan, so I know he'll be watching that one closely. Again, I don't care, though.
You're not alone in not caring about the ACC, Max. We are in Iowa, so not too many Coastal fans, but good to know that there are fair weather fans across the entire country. But let's get back to this game. I think you all know what time it is. It's prediction time. This is where boys become men, where you find out whether or not you're a winner or you're a loser. So it's time to decide who gets the coveted, the decorated, and the undisputed Kickoff Championship. Max, I know you're riding high after winning the title for the first time after that Illini game. But before we get into these predictions, can you just share some of the emotions you felt when you won that championship?
Michael, it's kind of choking me up a little bit. It almost reminds me of the first time I had Krispy Kreme. So sweet. But I only have it for another week. Hopefully I have for another week after that, though.
Yeah, Max, I completely understand your emotions and the connection that you've already built with that belt. I still miss it every single day, but soon, I believe that we will rekindle. But now let's bring back AJ and Aiden. Guys, I know you are all prepared for this one. It's the biggest game of the year, and of course, the biggest prediction of the year, as you'll get to hold on to the belt until Iowa goes bowling in late December. AJ, you have won that championship the most times, so why don't you start us off?
Michael, I've had it the most, but it just doesn't feel right not having it these last few weeks. It's like not having Brady in the league anymore. It's just different. Anyway, for my player to watch this week, I'm going back to a guy I've banked on a lot, Xavier Nwampa. We've talked about how without Coop, that secondary needs to step up, and X has been a guy to do it. And I think this weekend, he does it in a big way. A late game pick that might even turn into 6, which leads me to my prediction. Yeah, I've got the Hawkeyes, 14-10, Xavier Nwampa, walk-off pick 6, and all chaos breaks loose. The defense and Torrey Taylor does all the work, obviously. The offense maybe gets across the 54 times all game, but a LaShawn Williams touchdown in the first half, and then a dramatic walk-off by X is how I see this one playing out, boys. But Michigan can say all they want about how it's them against the world, but this weekend, it's Iowa against the football gods. But billions of years ago, on the 8th day, one God created Iowa, and he said, let Lucas Oil be painted in black and gold. We'll see you in the CFP, baby.
AJ, I absolutely love the energy. Now, I don't know about the playoffs, but I can tell you who's going to play awfully well this Saturday, and that is Caleb Brown. I know he's coming off a small little injury, but he is a former Buckeye, and nobody wants to beat Michigan more than Ohio State. Now he's finally a Hawkeye, playing and earning the snaps he deserves. I think he'll be locked in more than ever in Lucas Oil. He's shifty, explosive, his routes are crisp, and he's a spark plug for this offense. On Saturday, number 3 will prove once again why his decision to transfer will pay off. For my score prediction, I'm going with the Hawks. It's the last week, nothing to lose. Give me Kirk and the underdog crew this Saturday. 24-21 is my final score prediction, with a dominant defensive showcase from Iowa, forcing multiple turnovers and getting into the end zone once on a pick 6. Gentlemen, give me all the smoke, give me all the pressure, and of course, give me the Iowa Hawkeyes on Saturday.
Aiden, that's a really good pick, and I would have picked KB3 if you didn't. In that case, for my player to watch, I'm choosing a different Caleb Johnson. Johnson has had a tough year as he was set back for a lot of the regular season with a lower leg injury, but personally, in my humble opinion, KJ is the most NFL-type running back that we have on our team, and I think we'll need him against Michigan's big defense. KJ, while he doesn't always have his signature breakaway runs, breaks down a defense just from his physicality and size. If Iowa can run the ball efficiently with KJ, by the end of the game, Michigan's linebackers won't want to tackle him. And for my game prediction, it's a difficult one for sure. All year, I picked the Hawkeyes no matter the opponent. Sadly today, I think I'm gonna have to pick Michigan. Nope. Hawkeyes to win the Big Ten title. I've got the Hawks slowing the game down just how they like it, winning in Indy 13-10, and afterwards, Michael, I'll be singing, in heaven there is no beer, that's why we drink it here. I'm 22, and when all our friends aren't here, that's when they'll be drinking all the beer.
Wow, Max, that was wonderful. I mean, I don't know if I've seen anything better in my life.
I practiced a lot.
I could tell. I really can tell. But for my player to watch in this one, I'm going with Deshaun Lee. Lee has filled in very well this season for both Jamari Harris and now Cooper DeJean. But if Iowa wants to win on Saturday, they're going to need the man nicknamed Bean to have the Mamba mentality in full effect. Michigan is going to try to test him early and often, but I think it's going to bite them, and the freshman is going to get his first college interception in the biggest game of his career. Now, I know all of you have already picked Iowa, so before my prediction, I just want to remind everyone, once again, I'm a very fair and unbiased member of the media. So just because I'm a student at the University of Iowa doesn't mean my opinion is swayed at all. So with that being addressed, let's get to my pick. Michigan, well, they're over 20-point favorites in this game. They have a Heisman candidate at quarterback, and they have NFL players all over the field on both sides of the ball. So because of this, it's just gonna make it that much sweeter when Iowa pulls off the biggest upset in school history. I'm flying high with the Hawks in this one. Iowa wins it 16-14, and this is gonna be yet another game where everyone at the watch party is gonna look around and ask, how did Iowa win that one? But all that matters is they get that W. It's going to be a Big Ten battle. And I think Iowa's strong defense is going to force a ton of mistakes. And the Hawkeyes win their first ever Big Ten championship game.
Yeah, Michael, I've been waiting personally for this weekend since the beginning of the season. Now we just have to wait till Saturday to see if it all comes to fruition for the Hawkeyes.
You know, that's why they play the game. So Max, tell me if you've heard this story before. An Iowa team is over 20-point dogs in a game against the number 2 ranked Michigan Wolverines. That just reminds me of a game back in 2016 in Iowa City, a game I was at, but didn't want to join the photo with my dad because I was a lame, so I didn't get to take part in that history. But Iowa has done this before. We all think they can do it again.
Yeah, and it only takes a miracle, some magic. I just hope they bring it on Saturday, Michael.
Yeah, I hope they bring it. I hope I win that title, but more importantly, just hope the Hawkeyes win that title. But thank you to AJ and Aiden, and a special thanks to you for tuning into another edition of Before the Kickoff.
Be sure to check out the Daily Iowan website and YouTube page for all your latest on everything Hawkeye sports. And from the University of Iowa, I'm Max Von Gries.
And I'm Michael Merrick, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend of championship football, everyone.